Hey guys, this week we're talking about first reactions to us when we shaved our heads. The responses that I got from anyone who mattered were good. Either people said it looked great, or they didn't really say much and any attitude towards me didn't change at all. And I think that's the key point to take away if you're worried about what people will think when you shave your head. The people that matter to you, the people that are worth caring about their opinion, I'm sure will have a positive or neutral reaction, and the key is really what you think of it yourself and how you wear it, and that's going to help you going forward. Anyway, hope you guys who are on the brink of shaving take this as a bit of confidence to do so. Anyway, I'll catch you all later.
And for me personally, I was really young when I started losing my hair, so I started cutting my hair shorter and shorter, and then when it was starting to be visible that I was losing my hair, I just covered it up with hats and caps to try and hide away from it. And the problem with that was that I became dependent on wearing a hat, so I'd take hats with me everywhere. I would wear a beanie in a nightclub, I would wear a cap in a restaurant, and people would start commenting on that and saying, why are you wearing a hat? And if I'd have got to know them with me just wearing a hat, when I took my hat off, it was a surprise to them, and the reactions that I would get were, sometimes shocked or surprised, or sometimes, one guy even just started hysterically laughing. And at the time, I was, pissed off with that reaction. But it wasn't until later that I realised that it was because I was hiding part of myself away and not being true. So when I did take my hat off, obviously that was a surprise to people, because they weren't used to seeing me with a bald head. And so I made a conscious decision to stop wearing hats as much and only wear a hat if I really needed to wear a hat. And I realised later that everyone treated me exactly the same as when I wore a hat before, and there was no need to actually wear it. I was far more concerned about what other people thought than what they actually thought. So if anyone's sort of thinking about, what other people's reactions are going to be like, my advice would be you're probably worrying about it a lot more than they're thinking about it. So the sooner you embrace it, the better, and be true to yourself. Don't hide away.
Hey guys, Rich from BLD BRO here. My turn to talk about the topic of the week, which was people's reactions when we first braved the shave. Now, I mentioned last week I was back home from university when I braved the shave. I actually visited the barbers with a friend of mine who was going to get his haircut. I was just with him at the time before we went out on the evening. So he was there getting his haircut, and while I was sat there, I just thought to myself, this is the moment, I'm going to get it done. I'm just going to brave the shave and get it all whipped off. So as he finished, I told him what I was doing. He couldn't believe it, and asked the barber just to shave it all off, and that's exactly what he did. Turned round and my mate just burst out laughing. He couldn't believe that I'd just gone ahead and done it. When we went out in the evening, that was pretty much exactly the same reaction from all my friends. They were just laughing at me, and they couldn't quite believe why I'd done it and that I'd done it, really. If they had known that I was, struggling inside and, I had worries about my hair and everything else, they probably wouldn't have took the piss so much. But there again, they're my good mates, so they probably would have took the piss more. And my parents, they were quite horrified, and my nan was shocked beyond belief. She couldn't believe that I'd gone ahead and done it. So, like, the first initial reactions I got were pretty negative. But I think that was just more for the shock value and more about how the skinhead look, I guess, was perceived at the time. It wasn't as accepted as much as it is in this day and age, especially by the older generation. So it is pretty much a big shock to them. Now, when I got back to uni, my friends there, they were far more receptive of it, and they didn't take the piss as much as my mates back home. That might have been due to the fact there was a few more guys there who I knocked around with that were beginning to suffer hair loss themselves, so maybe they could appreciate what I'd done a little bit more. But all in all, the reactions weren't too bad, but it was my reaction that was the big issue, and the fact that I couldn't deal with it. And as like Ben, I just hid behind hats a bit. Well, more than a bit. I wore them all the time. So when I'd be out, somebody would whip my hat off, and obviously there'd be no hair there, and that would be a shock once again to people. And that was something that, as like Ben did, I had to come to terms with, and just become more and more confident and step away from doing that. But what I will say to people is, if you are in the right mindset, you're feeling comfortable with yourself and confident in yourself, don't be afraid of doing it, because the reactions that people give aren't that bad. You're worrying about it far more than what anybody else is. So just go ahead, get it done, and move on with that next stage, and embrace it with confidence. That's my 2 penneth as always, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Take care. Bye bye.